Do you have a childhood obsession? What about one that's followed you into adulthood? For some, it's their Beanie Baby collection, and others, it's the Pokemon franchise that has them in chokehold. For us, it's cooking games. From Diner Dash to PlateUp, we discuss the evolution of our gamer girl eras and detail how an obsession like this will never die.
Welcome back, Chanel.
I'm glad to be back.
Are you though?
Maybe.
Okay. Well, regardless if you are or not, I'm excited to talk about this topic. But before we start, you know how we've watched The Bear?
Yes.
Season 1, Season 2, and part of Season 3? Because Season 3 is hard to get through.
Whew.
My question is for you. If you were a game developer, how would you take The Bear and make it into a co-op video game?
Co-op video
Yes,
game.
because we both have to be able to play it at the same time.
You smart, girl. let me lay it down. Let me lay it down. My brain, the wheels are turning. So first of all, co-op game. So I'm a fan of a story game.
Mm-hmm.
So like a game where you're following a plot. The plot doesn't have to be directly related to the gameplay, but it's got to follow, like, you're trying to get somewhere and it's a part of the story.
So I'm assuming the plot, let's just say the plot is, let me set the stage for you and then you do it because you want a plot. Carmi has just finished. He just came out from working at a Michelin star restaurant. Yep. His brother has passed away and has given him the restaurant that has yet to be titled The Bear, right? That's your storyline, right? The restaurant is in shambles and you must get it to a 3 Michelin star restaurant.
Period.
Now give me the game.
Period. So first of all, it depends on what platform we want to have it on.
Okay.
So I personally, and this is a little shady, a VR game. Have you ever played VR games?
I've never.
Okay. You know how they're always saying like, it's the future. It's not that serious, but they put a little drugs in those games.
I want to do the one where you're playing the music. Beatmaster.
So much fun.
What is
Beat
that called?
Saber.
Beat Saber.
I'm a master. I'm not a master, but it's so much fun.
The next time you come,
I need to bring it.
No, the next time you come, bring your VR set.
Yeah, I need to bring it because.
I thought you said I didn't bring it.
I said I need to bring it.
Okay, my bad.
I didn't even think about it this time.
Right.
But yeah, it's so much fun because you're like in the game as opposed to playing the game.
Yeah.
And so you can. There's one game that I play on VR called, I think it's Cookout. And you are making sandwiches.
Yeah.
And you're straight up slicing the bread and you're putting together the sandwich. And there's other friends in the game. And you're all like, yeah, we need an order on 3. Like,
I would love that. I would love
so much
that.
fun. It's so much fun. And you can play online with people. So it's you playing.
Right.
So much fun.
So you're pretty much saying that you would do that for the bear, or no, you wouldn't do that?
I think that would be the perfect setting for the bear. You know, maybe, I don't know if they do the thing where they have it on VR for some people, but you could play on the Switch for other people. I don't know if that's a thing.
I like the idea of VR for all of it.
Yeah.
Because could you think about it? Like the scene in the kitchen where someone's reading the orders and you're having, that'd be, okay, sorry. I'm taking this from you. Continue.
No. You know, this could be a conversation.
Yes.
I like collaboration. If you couldn't tell.
You're right.
Podcast buddy. So, yeah. So I think what you said for the plot, perfect. And you start out, it's the first day and you start out making simple things like they were making before. You start out making the sandwiches and everything like that. And you go through the story. And so each level would be you serving customers for that day. And so you'll have like a certain amount of customers that come in and you'll make like the 3 signature or whatever things that they have. You go through it. You have to chop up the things. You got to, just like if you were cooking, we're giving Cookie Mama vibes, right? Cookie Mama. And then if it's co-op, then you can have 2 people in the game or up to 4 maybe. And maybe 4. Each of you choose. One could be Carmi, one could be Ayo's character, one could be,
I think her name is Sydney.
Yeah. I used to get confused with your name and hers. Sydney, and then, you know, one of the other characters in the show, Marcus is one,
right? Like you could have someone who's like head chef, sous chef, pastry, taking orders,
and you could just choose characters in the story
because you can have someone who's waiting tables,
period. So then we go through all of that, and so it would be, okay, you have to beat the levels to progress through the story,
right?
So at a certain point, you keep going, and then eventually you get to that turning point in the story where they find the money in the tomato sauce or whatever.
Right.
First season. Spoilers for the bear. Spoilers.
You
for
should
the
have
bear.
said spoilers first.
We'll put it in the description. Please make sure you read. Sorry if you haven't watched it by now.
Right, that's true.
Just watch it. It's good. I didn't ruin anything.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, but yeah, you have that, and that all the progressions in the story would be like cutaway scenes.
Right. I agree.
And so each night you're doing the same thing. It's just like Diner Dash and all these games that we played before. You just keep going through the same thing, and then at a certain point you can start choosing. Like when he upgrades and he's like, I want a fancy restaurant. Then you can start choosing what menu items that you want to put on. Okay, girl. You can start decorating your kitchen, upgrade appliances.
I have something. So you need to make sure you had challenges that come in. This is another spoiler, but this is more from season 3. That we could randomly have a food critic.
Exactly.
So you don't know when that happens.
Don't know
you
when it's coming. You better serve
every single day. So if you have a bad day, there could be a food critic, and we can also incorporate those where someone quits or you have to fire somebody.
Yep.
And they give you the option. Like I like the whole idea of like you're reading a story and you're clicking A or B and it has a different outcome based on. That'd be really interesting to also incorporate to give you more or give the player more of a say in how the story goes.
Yep. It
kind of reminds me of like Detroit Becomes Human. I have never played, but I've watched gameplay where ultimately every single decision leads to another arc, and they kind of show you every single time you pick a decision all the things that could have happened, like if you didn't. That could also do more playability with the game because it would make people want to go back and play it over and over so they unlock everything.
All the different pathways.
Longevity.
And I could even imagine, especially because like in the more recent seasons, they have more of like a streamlined kitchen process where one person is a ticket reader and stuff like that. So if you're playing multiple people, multiple characters, you could have one person who's the reader.
Yes.
I could imagine, Cindy, I need 97 beefs now.
And I'll be like, okay, beefs. And then
I need that.
And where's the asparagus? And I'm like,
serve it.
Yeah.
Like,
we'd be yelling. We'd be
yelling. Overcooked vibes.
I think I would also want it to be this. If this is going to sound so like, what is it? A masochist or a sadist? Which is one where you like to inflict pain on yourself?
Masochist. You like pain.
Yeah. We should make it the difficulty of Cuphead to pass each level.
Oh my God. We really should actually.
Right?
Like you have to be.
Right? Or it's kind of like Overcooked where you need to get 3 stars. Like you get a certain number of stars, but we make it at some point where you can't unlock unless you've gotten 3 stars in every level but 1. You know?
Yep. Ooh, we're brutal.
We are. But I think that's because we have a lot of experience playing cooking games.
It's true.
We grew up playing cooking games.
It's my favorite type of game.
I think it's the only game that I've really played.
Yes.
Because I grew up not being allowed to play games. I came from a kind of not strict, I guess. Oh, actually.
Let's be honest.
Came from a strict household.
Not really strict.
But my dad didn't believe in having video games. He saw video games as a distraction. And to some extent it can be, but I think the way that they raised us, I don't think it would have been as bad. They probably would have put rules on it, but I digress. So the only video games we were allowed to have was the Wii, and the only games we were allowed to play on the Wii were like Just Dance, because it was considered exercise. Yeah. So we had the Wii Sports because that is what they always sold with the Wii, and then we had Just Dance, and I would always ask for that around my birthday because that's when they would come out, and I would use it as a form of exercise. It wasn't until I went to college when somebody gave my dad an Xbox for free, which I mean, an Xbox for free. That's kind of right. And that's when my brother started playing more video games, but I never really played games. There was a short period when I had a computer, like a PC. For some reason, I remember the year. It was 2003. And I remember that PC being put in my room. And we went to Half Price Books. You remember Half Price Books?
Yes.
I love me some Half Price Books. And I was able to buy 3 Diner Dash games for $3. A total of $3. And that is where my love of cooking games formed.
And let's just talk about Diner Dash real quick. Because I feel like that was my introduction to cooking games as well. I think I have a little bit more experience playing games than you do because my dad liked to play games like Halo. That was his thing. So I definitely played some Halo, but I never got good at video games like that. But Diner Dash, that's my
the game.
I think that game.
That has to be considered one of the OG cooking games. It has to
absolutely.
be. Has to be.
Absolutely.
Right? So I would say when you play a lot of games, you build game sense. And you've seen over the past year or so that I played games, I've built a game sense. But if we played at Diner Dash, I feel like you would immediately see that I was a gamer. Yeah. Because I knew all the tricks. That's where I first learned that you need to wait to serve a table so that you can build extra times 2 points. The XP so that you can get more money. So I would have tables sitting where I would go and I get the extra, like, what is it? Either the drinks or the little treats to drop on the table to improve their happiness score. I love that game. You know, that's a game. This is a side tangent. They need to bring that game back. They need to revamp it. They need to
bring it. I want to play it on my phone.
I want to play it on my phone. I want to play it on my Switch.
Please. On the Switch?
On the Switch.
Now that would go
co-op.
Crazy.
Co-op.
You're crazy. You're crazy.
Hey. Looking at the camera. If you
Nintendo.
Right.
Please.
Right. Bring Diner Dash back.
Please.
Bring it back.
We'll play it.
Oh, 100%.
Yes.
Well, 100%.
And I think that game has crack in it because, one, it's super easy to learn how to play.
100%.
Takes no skill.
You don't have to cook anything.
Point, click.
Literally.
Point, click. That's all you have to do. And then it adds on extra strategy and it makes it harder each round. And I remember back then they had like the certain colors. Like if you sat someone in the same color seat, you get extra points. And so it was all strategy.
Was it extra points or was it that they wouldn't even sit there? Oh, no. As soon as they sat there, it changed the color of the table.
Yeah, it would change the color. But if you sat them in the right color, then it would keep giving you like extra points or whatever. Yeah. Or money, whatever it was.
I need to go look into that. There has to be CDs somewhere of Diner Dash.
You see, I have it on my computer right now.
We're playing it after this.
Yes.
We're playing it after this.
It's so good.
Oh my gosh. Good. But yeah, I think Diner Dash was one of the OG games. Yes. I love that game. I need to start a petition. Anyway, to move on. Yes. What are other OG cooking games that you played?
You see, I feel like the one we have to mention, because especially you mentioned the Wii, Cooking Mama.
Cooking Mama was on the Wii?
Cooking Mama was on the Wii.
I think I only played it on a computer.
Really?
Okay.
I could be misremembering because you know how I be.
Hey, you're talking to the person who didn't grow up playing games. True. I just know I played Cooking Mama. I just don't know on what medium I played Cooking Mama. Yeah.
Cooking Mama.
But Cooking Mama actually made me feel like I was a chef. You were going through the motions.
Have you seen those videos of people cooking things from Cooking Mama, following their instructions, and it works?
And it works.
They were trying to teach us.
They were teaching us how to cook. And maybe I personally love cooking.
Yeah.
And so maybe that's where it stemmed from, was just playing games like Cooking Mama. Because Diner Dash, you don't cook.
No.
I don't think there's any other games that are cooking games that I played where you actually do the cooking.
You see... Not any of the OG ones. Not any of the OG ones. Some of the later ones, like for example, I mentioned Cookout on VR. You're actually cooking and putting the stuff together, which makes sense for VR because it's like you're standing up. So they're like, how do we use this standing up and the capabilities of you actually using your hands? So that's there. And then there was another game back in the day that I liked to play called Burger Shop. They have 1, 2, and 3, I believe. I got it downloaded on my phone right now. I love Burger Shop. Now, have you heard of Burger Shop?
I don't know.
You would like it.
Okay.
Because it's similar to Diner Dash, except instead of like servicing tables, the premise is you have a burger machine that some aliens dropped off. Okay? Just go with it. And the burger machine can tell what everybody ordered. And so it just gives you the raw ingredients and you put everything together. Oh. So somebody comes in, hey, I want a cheeseburger with a lettuce and onion. And then I want a drink, but make sure it's a Coke. And then I want an ice cream. And then you have to go and like click everything and put it together. So I'd put together the sandwich, get the ice cream.
Doesn't that sound like a lot like the game that we just downloaded on our Switch? Don't you do the same thing?
Yes. Okay. What is that game called?
I don't remember.
Don't remember.
Similar
vibes, but that one, it's a lot a lot. Because that one, they're adding on extra stuff. You gotta take out the trash. You gotta kill rats.
I think it's to the level of what we're saying for the bear game.
Yes,
but it's not VR
interactive.
Right.
But yeah, so Burger Shop.
I have a question for you because this is reminding me. There was a game, and I'm going to probably explain it so badly, but I'm going to hope that your cooking game brain can remember. It was kind of like you were a chef, and you were learning how to make different dishes, and you're going through different culinary cuisines. You actually got to make them. Like there were different culinary cuisines that you actually got to make, and each time that you passed like a certain level, you got a certain star, and then you could move on to like another restaurant and learn how to make that culinary cuisine. You could play it on your PC. And I remember being obsessed with this game, and us talking about this has brought back this memory. And the only reason why I'm bringing it up is because I fully plan on getting a lot of these games. I'm probably gonna have to get a PC, and I want to play them again. But that game had me in a chokehold because I think it was like the cooking mama thing where I was actually cooking. And I can only remember the thing that is going on in my brain right now is I made egg rolls, and I remember.
This sounds so freaking familiar. The egg rolls.
Because you would take the meat, you would fold it, and you would fry it, and then you have to plate it.
Yes.
Do you know what I'm talking?
I don't remember the name at all. I feel like I know what you're talking about.
And that game was fun. Yeah, we'll find it.
We'll find it.
We'll have to, the fact that you also remembered it means it means I didn't make it up.
I remember.
So we'll have to find
goddamn egg rolls.
But these cooking games literally were my life. I said I wasn't a gamer. I guess I just wasn't a like.
Because, there's different types of games.
Different types of games.
These ones are more like point and click for the most part. And then I guess the game theme is food.
Right.
They're not necessarily food games. You know what I mean? Point and click.
Right.
And that was the vibe.
A lot of these games are also, all the games we've talked about so far, you only play them by yourself.
Yeah.
I think more recently, the games that I've been getting into have been more collaborative or co-op games.
Yeah.
Even like not necessarily with cooking games, but we played a 2-person co-op game. And this is my first time learning like having to do game sense. Or no, actually Rayman Legends was the first game that we played together where I had to use game sense.
That game's very fun.
It's a lot of fun when you know how to play.
Yeah, you were struggling.
Hey, I've improved.
You have improved so much because we went through a level probably however many months ago. From the first time you played, like, girl, I was like, go this direction. Jump, Cindy, jump.
What button is jump, Chanel?
A. You're pressing B. You're pressing B.
No. This is where A should be. This is where A should be.
Cindy, now you're pressing X. Press A. Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Cindy, you didn't press anything. Ready?
I did press it.
1, 2, 3. Cindy, you didn't press anything. I pressed it. I'm like, girl, let me watch you. We were legit. I put my controller down and be like, let me watch you do this.
I was pressing it.
I'm like, girl, you're pressing the wrong button. And so it would take us an hour to get through a level that normally takes 5 minutes.
Yes.
You were struggling.
Yes.
But yeah, so you've gone from that to you can finish levels.
I can finish levels.
Pretty much normal.
Yeah.
You might struggle a little bit.
But not as bad as I used.
Especially when we were playing that one game. It Takes Two.
Yeah. It takes two to make things right. It's not a podcast episode if we don't have a mini music break.
A little theme song.
Yeah.
But yeah, so It Takes Two, we were able to make it through a majority of that. We quit because it wasn't our vibe.
It's just long.
It's long.
A very long game. And I think that game is it's a game that we actually had to sit down and just push through to the end.
Yeah.
It's not a game that we need to keep breaking up because if we kept breaking it up, and it would just make the days seem longer and longer and longer.
And then we just didn't want to play it at a certain point.
At some point, I think we should go back and try to finish. The completionist in me wants to finish it. So I feel like we'll get there eventually, but I'm not going to ask you to finish it for another couple years.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it's going to take us a while. But anyway, we need to remember to go find that game. I really want to find that cooking game.
That sounds so familiar.
Right?
Wow.
And it's the egg rolls.
The egg rolls.
But back to the whole idea of co-ops. We did start playing a lot of co-op cooking games together. Yeah. And I didn't realize how much you loved cooking games before this point. But the first co-op game we played together was Overcooked. Overcooked 1, and then we did Overcooked 2.
Yes.
And that was, I quickly learned.
What did you learn, Cindy?
No, sometimes when you play co-op games, you have a short fuse.
Sometimes, Cindy.
Hey, I'm just there for the vibes.
The vibes.
I'm literally, you can tell I'm just there for the vibes.
Yes.
Yeah.
So Overcooked, it was you and me playing, and then we also had our other friend Angelica. And so the three of us would play, and that game is super fun. You're actually like making the food.
You're chopping and
yeah, you're like chopping. It's still like kind of, you use a controller, but
it's still clicking.
Similar to the point and click type vibes.
Yes.
And so that game is very difficult though, because you have to coordinate with everybody else. If somebody's slacking,
right,
you aren't gonna make it, baby.
Right.
And you got time limits. You're trying to get
multiple
stars.
orders. You have to like, and the thing is, you have a limited number of dishes. You need to wash dishes.
Yep.
You don't really have to interact with the customers as much. So you're not like in Diner Dash. You're seating them, and then you're taking their order, and then you're clearing the table.
Yep.
With this one, you're just making the food, plating it, dropping it off,
Yep.
and then grabbing the plates and cleaning them again. And it's very important with this game. Honestly, I'm curious to know what it'd be like to play Overcooked by yourself, but it's really important in this game to have multiple people doing things.
Yeah.
Because while someone is chopping, if you're doing salad, someone's chopping the lettuce, chopping the tomatoes, you want someone to be taking the plate, putting it together, taking the plate, dropping it off, and then you would like ideally have somebody else washing your dishes. And that way you're like a factory, a machine.
Yep. And
getting things done.
The thing that makes Overcooked so hard is that you actually depend on everybody, because they will separate you into different parts where you can't get to the other side. So, if you're making hamburgers, the meat's over here, the bread's over here, and there's a barrier in between, and y'all got to figure it out.
Right.
Okay. And so, me with Angelica, I be... Angelica!
You be yelling. You be laughing or yelling. And I'd be laughing.
She ignores me.
No, that... I don't think you realize there's been multiple times, because I sometimes laugh on the phone. I'll have to mute myself because I'm laughing so hard.
She ignores me. And then after she ignores me the entire round and we lose and we have to play again, she'll be like, "Oh, what?
No,
you were calling me?" Or she'll just be like, "Well, I just didn't want to do it."
No, I'm telling you, those are my favorite parts. It's when she comes out and she's just like, "I didn't hear you," and I'm like, "How?
How did you didn't hear? How?" And I'm sitting there like, "How?" I'm yelling into the phone right now. I'm screaming.
I'm telling you, I've laughed so much. I've laughed so much during that game.
I've been going off.
Yes.
I'm like, Cindy,
but
give me that steak.
Because the Overcooked games will move you around. I think that's the reason why I appreciate Overcooked 2 more than Overcooked 1, because you can actually throw. I think that's the best update they ever made in those games, is you can actually pass things around. But of course, because they want to make things more challenging, they make it so I think one of the levels is we're on 2 different rafts, and I hate that so much.
Or the 2 different cars. Woo, and then like the pieces will come together so you can run over real quick and be like, "I'm gonna go over here." But you have to be very coordinated.
You have to be very coordinated. And then the game in itself, I think it got to a point, we went through the entire thing. There's no want for me to repeat. Like, I don't feel the need or the urge to try to get 3 stars.
Yeah.
Even though I did see a TikTok where
I saw that
couple,
and I was like, I'm jealous.
Are you?
I'm jealous, but I don't want to go back and do it.
Yeah, I don't care to do it. There's just, I feel the urge to complete levels or get enough stars to open up next levels, but the game doesn't really give me any sort of satisfaction to want to go towards getting 3 stars. Now, if that couple who did all those 3 stars levels showed me that because they got 3 stars in the entire game,
it opened up a super secret level,
then I would call you both and say we need to get working.
We need to do it.
There's, for the amount of time and effort, there's not that much reward when it comes to Overcooked from a cooking game.
Yep.
I think I felt the least amount of satisfaction from playing Overcooked versus all the other cooking games that I played.
Yeah, and I don't know why that is, because it's similar to the rest of them, but I think it might be the fact that it's more difficult.
It probably is that,
because playing like Diner Dash and you go back and same thing with Burger Shop, like I'm going through and I'm trying to get like 3 stars on all the expert levels, whatever. It's entertaining because it's like just point click. it's the same amount of time each level. You don't have to do a bunch of stuff. You don't have to, get all your friends on a call and you have a limited amount of time to play. It's just you yourself, and you can kind of play as the time goes on.
Yeah.
And then, if you keep at it, you're going to get it.
Right.
It's going to happen for you.
I mean, you can say the same thing about cooking game, or Overcooked. Yeah.
I mean, some of those levels, I don't think we'll ever get 3 stars on some of those levels.
But there's some levels that we would have 1 star that we'd keep playing, and we get 2.
Yep.
So it is possible. For me, though, one of the reasons why, and I don't know if Burger Shop has this, but the reason why I like Diner Dash is the more stars you get and the more points you unlock things to make your restaurant look better. So there's more reward to it. Overcooked doesn't have a reward system. Yep. That's why I'm saying if they showed that a whole new set of levels came out because you beat every single level and got 3 stars, to me, that's a worthy enough reward. It's like you unlocked another world of games that only the select few can get if they're actually able to get 3 stars. Right? Then at that point, I'm like, okay, that makes this difficulty worth it, especially if those levels there was like no rules.
Yeah.
Where it's like you could speed run, you could throw food, you had like multiple dishes. Because can you imagine if these extra levels, it's like you could make burgers and sushi and hot dogs in the same one? Which I think there are levels like that, but it's more curated and it's easier to do, where it's like you could have a double of yourself. There could be ways to make it where you want, like, I want to complete the game, but I don't think Overcooked has that.
Yeah, that's true. But this being said, I'm ready for the next Overcooked. If they make a new Overcooked game, I would buy it.
What is something that you think Overcooked 3 could have or should have to upgrade from Overcooked 2? So like from Overcooked 1 and Overcooked 2, you can throw. What would you want to see in Overcooked 3?
That's a good question.
I can be an interviewer sometimes.
Yeah. Actually, I'm not a host. I'm constantly the guest.
You are.
You're always interviewing me.
I am. I'm the one holding this podcast together.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, you said it, not me.
Damn. I'm going to quit. So, I don't know how you upgrade, because it already seems like a lot is going on in the game. So what else could you do? I feel like if they added maybe like power-ups or something like that, like if you serve this meal, and I will say it like on top, this meal has a freeze power-up, and so it freezes time, so you have more time to get orders in, something like that. But that's something I stole from Burger Shop, because they have that. They have like the freeze one. They have one where
freeze time would be good.
Stops a new customer for coming in so that you can catch up. They have like a burger bot, so it'll make orders for you sometimes.
It'd be nice if you could delete orders too.
Ooh, yes.
One thing that I would like to see in an Overcooked 3, you know how they move things around and they move the like platforms?
Yeah.
There was one level, I think it was, I don't remember where exactly it was, but you would hit a button to switch things around. I would prefer that for the platforms. Rather than the platforms moving on their own, I would rather have a button. You can do a time delay where you can only, like, every single time you hit it, there's like a 10-second gap between them. Yeah. But I would rather us have, like, sure, make it so that you can't reach burgers unless we hit the button. And once you hit, or buns, excuse me. And once you hit the buns, something gets blocked. That's fine. But I don't like this random moving, because once you create a flow, you have 3 people. We're never in the same location when we're playing the game again. It's very difficult to get a flow. Yeah. And once you get a flow going, the platforms move. And while I get it's also part of the game, you have so many other things that are making this difficult that adding this extra is making it impossible to get 3 stars. You know, there's ways that you could still have that level of difficulty without making it impossible to pass.
Yeah. Overcooked people, if you're watching this podcast,
if you're listening,
if you're watching and or listening, they probably just told us to go F ourselves, but probably. Institute some things,
right?
And please come out with the 3rd one, because I will play it,
and I guess I will also play it, because birds of a feather,
they flock together.
Yep. But now we talked about Overcooked, but you know what a really good co-op game is?
Oh, girl, I know.
It's called PlateUp.
PlateUp, our true love.
And actually, do you want to know something so funny about PlateUp? I knew about PlateUp over a year before we played it on Switch. Wow. Because I used to watch people play it on stream. I watched streamers play PlateUp, and I found out that they played it on PC. So when I was looking up, we were looking for a new cooking game because we finished Overcooked 1, we finished Overcooked 2. I Googled good co-op cooking games and PlateUp came up. And I was really excited because I remember watching it and being so engaged. But then at the time, I think it was like coming out earlier this year. And we were like late last year. And I was like, okay, I'm going to remind you guys when it comes out. And I remember talking to you and Angelica about this over and over and over. But like, PlateUp is so much fun. PlateUp is so much fun. And I don't think you guys realized. You were just like, it is what it is. But we're looking for a game right now. Yeah. That was the whole thing. It was like, that's cool and all, Cindy. But we're looking for a game that we're able to play co-op on Switch right now. Which I think is another thing we need to talk to Nintendo about.
Oh, God. More co-op games, please.
There's more co-op games. Like, why is it that the It Takes Two is the only type game of like that in its kind that we can play on Switch?
Especially playing from 2 different locations.
Yeah.
Like, okay, cool. It's a game that you can play with multiple people. Why can't I play it online? Right. Especially because you have to pay for the online membership. So, like, girl.
But anyway. But I remember when we finally got it, I was so excited to play. And we played like 1 or 2 times and we weren't quite feeling it.
Because we didn't get
it. There was things that we would do, and people who have played the games will understand the words that are about to come out of my mouth. Ooh. But we would they would be offering us a research desk. And every single day it was like, why would we need that? We would never buy it. And so we would go through the days, and then at some point we would lose, and we're like, everything is too slow. We wouldn't understand. But I think the cooking game mindset in you had you go to Reddit. Yeah. Because you started coming back with like, Reddit says you need to have.
We got to do this.
Right. You need to get a research desk and you need to upgrade it. You need to upgrade things. Yep. And then once we learned how to do all that, it was kind of like you said cooking games had crack. It was kind of like we took a new drug and it didn't work the first time. So we tried it the second time and the third time and then we were hooked.
Yeah, we were hooked.
And I can't believe it's almost been a year.
Yeah, since we've been playing.
Because it came out February of this year.
Crazy. Yeah. And we've been on it. And like literally when we play it, we are not playing around.
No.
And this is us from a distance. Yes. With Overcooked, we might play 3 hours.
If that. Before we get frustrated.
PlateUp, we will literally play for 10 plus hours.
Consecutive days.
It
was getting unhealthy.
Actually unhealthy.
Very, very much so. Where it'd be 2 a.m. and I typically go to work. I have to leave to work by 6, 7. And it'd be 2 a.m. and I'd be like,
one more game. Just one more game. I'm like, Cindy,
please, one more.
We're playing for 12 hours.
And then you say, okay.
Last one.
Our call logs would be so long from those days.
So long.
And we roped so many people into it. We got your mom to play with us.
Yeah, and she'll never play with us.
Because we did her so dirty. You know, your mom, she's literally, when she says she's not going to do something again, she really means it.
She really means it.
That's where you get it from.
Yep.
That's where you get it from. Because you do the same.
She'd be questioning me why I have that mentality, but turns out it's her all along. But yeah, the reason why she'll never play with us again is because me, Cindy, and her were all playing.
We haven't explained how this game works at all.
Oh, let me just do this and then we'll go back and explain.
Yeah.
So basically, her character was stuck. Like, it's very easy. Everything's clumsy. Like the way that it's built is clumsy. So she got stuck behind a customer and against the wall. And she's like, help me, please, help.
And all we did was laugh at her.
We just laughed and kept playing. And hey, we beat the level.
But she kept saying, y'all suck.
Help me, please. We just watched her struggle. This should not be that funny, but it was hilarious. I swear. So yeah, rightfully so. She will never play with us again.
If your mom ever listens to this episode, she's gonna text you and be like, "Why are y'all suck?" Oh my gosh. But okay. PlateUp is a collaborative co-op game, which I believe is similar to, I think it's an amalgamation. What is it? Amalgamation.
Yeah, amalgamation
of Diner Dash and Overcooked.
Yeah.
In the sense that in Overcooked, you're actually cooking your food. So you're interacting where you're getting the ingredients, you're chopping, you're making, you're plating. But Diner Dash, because you're seating people, you're dropping the plates, you're clearing tables, and you're actually washing dishes. So kind of like the one thing that like PlateUp has that Overcooked doesn't is that you're not interacting with customers at all.
Yeah.
Right. So you don't see, you see the patience dropping in like the actual meal, but you don't see actual people sitting at a table and orders just come in.
Yep.
Versus with PlateUp, you have a set number of tables, but then you can have a line outside.
Yeah.
And the biggest thing about PlateUp is if the patience of the people outside or the people inside drops to 0, that they get up and leave, your day is over and your restaurant closes.
And by closes, she means that whatever game you were playing, like your little save file, it's done.
It's over.
You lose everything and you have to restart
from the very beginning.
And we found that out the hard way
multiple
times.
Yeah. So the thing about this game that makes it so addicting is that you're not getting 3 stars in every single level.
Yeah.
You're trying to make a 3-star restaurant. So you have a total of 15 days.
5-star.
Oh, sorry. A 5-star restaurant. You have a total of 15 days, right? And so every day you get more customers. And then I think it's 6 days, you get a roadblock.
Yeah.
You can either, so pretty much.
It's every 3 days.
Is it every 3 days?
Mm-hmm.
Dang, we get a lot of roadblocks then.
We'd be having a lot of cards.
Yeah. So pretty much every 3 days they give you a card, and that card can be something like Morning Rush. And what Morning Rush means is that you could have a total of 7 groups coming in, but they add an extra 3 that will come in the beginning of your day.
Yeah.
Meaning that if you're prepared to only serve a total of 7 groups, they're going to give you 10, which you might not have enough tables for.
Yep.
You may not have enough time to make all the food because, again, their patience is going to drop at the same rate. It doesn't matter if you're prepared or not. You have to serve everybody. Or you can have, if you're doing burgers, for example, it's typically a hamburger to start with, but you could have the option of adding cheese. So now your customers can come in wanting to order cheeseburgers or a hamburger. The unpredictability of this game is what makes it so addicting because ultimately there's no grinding, really.
Yeah.
It's a little bit of luck, but it's also skill. You need to be quick at chopping up your meat, or you need to be able to upgrade so you have a blender that's able to chop up your meat for you.
Yep.
You know? And then that's what I love about it. It's like we can keep going and going. And that satisfaction that you get when you finally hit that 15 days and franchise.
And I think the thing that adds to it is there's different meals that you can prepare.
Yeah, I think it's 15 different meals.
Yeah, that have different ways of preparing each one. Different difficulties to prepare each one. And then you can choose different layouts for your restaurant. And then it's up to you for what you choose to upgrade and whatnot in your technique. And our technique has changed
so much.
You know, the more you learn,
I would love to see the Cindy and Chanel of February.
We were struggling.
Right, but I would love them to see how we play
far
now.
We made it, yes.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you know, we've gotten to the point where we've been able to automate.
That's one of our next things. Well, we've done it once.
Yes, we've done it once.
But we want to do it for all 15 meals.
Yes. And so for automation, it's just about getting the right upgrades and things.
And tools.
Yes. So like Cindy mentioned, you could get a mixer and that will chop up meat for you.
Without you really having conveyors.
Yes. You can get conveyors that will take your meat and then put it into the bowl that it needs to be in and yada, yada. So you can automate the cooking process. And you can automate the washing dishes. You can automate the serving tables. There's like a bunch of stuff that you can kind of automate. I think for serving tables is probably the hardest one because you want to get that special card. Clearing tables. Yeah, you can clear tables. But yeah, so we basically we did like coffee on one time. And we were literally just standing there serving 200 and something customers.
Yeah.
And just standing there like this.
And it's the fact that we ended it. I think we got to day like 30 something, 40 something. Yeah. And we just ended it because it was getting boring.
It was getting boring. And then I think it started glitching or something.
That's true.
And yeah.
Coffee is probably one of the easiest ones to automate because you don't have to clean dishes.
Yeah. Yeah. That makes life easy.
Right? But because there's so much that you can do with this game, every single time you go onto Reddit, you're like, Cindy, they've automated and they've done this, or they franchised and did this, or because we recently learned that you can, if you play a franchise and get to 15 days, it becomes a tier 2 restaurant. And I'm like, how high are the tiers? How high can you go? There's just so many things left to be discovered with this game that is very multifaceted, but still comes across as simple.
Yeah.
And because it comes across as simple, it feels doable. And I think that's the issue with Overcooked, is that it's just too difficult.
Yeah.
That you don't really want to put the time to grind.
In like a not fun way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because this is difficult in the fun way.
Yes. And also, I will say one downside about PlateUp is the fact that there's no like, I guess they normally call it like campaign mode, where you have like levels and you're progressing.
Yeah.
Like a story behind it type thing. They don't have that.
They don't.
You have to create your own, like, what do I want to do here?
Right.
And like the first goal is normally, okay, let's see if we can get to 5 stars. Then, okay, let's say you make it through 5 stars on all of the different types of food that you can make. What are you going to do now? Oh, well, I think I want a tier 2 restaurant or a tier 1 restaurant, whatever. Right. And then what if you tier 1 everything? You have to kind of set your own goals to keep it interesting and keep it going. And so I will say that's one downside. I feel like it would be nice if they had like a campaign level, and then they also had like the free mode, which is what we currently have.
But I think the fact that you're able to find different ways to play the game is what makes it also desirable, just because there's no set thing for it. Because Overcooked has a campaign. Yeah. In a sense, it's not a well done one, but they have it.
You gotta start reading them for fail, Cindy. It was a fun game. We enjoyed it. Give us the third one.
No, here's the thing. We enjoyed it, but now it's done. If you're going to compare them, right, and saying that PlateUp doesn't have a campaign, I don't think necessarily a campaign would make it better.
I think I'd like a campaign.
I think you just like structure.
I like a structure. I also like a free mode, and their free mode is the most creative free mode because everything's personalizable. Right. I like that.
Oh, another thing that I also like about PlateUp is I feel like the developers are more attainable.
Oh yeah, they talk on their Reddit, and they let people know when they're having upgrades
and what they're doing.
And people will like put, oh, there's a bug for this, and they'll fix it in the next round. I like that. And then they do stuff for Halloween, which we missed.
They do stuff for holidays. They do stuff for. They're gonna do something for Christmas too,
which we have to. We have to hit it.
I think that's the other reason why. I don't know how old PlateUp is, but it's the way that the developers are so engaged with what the people are saying and how people are playing the game and making like modifications and adapting it based off what people are suggesting and people are asking. I think it's that kind of comes to your whole campaign type of thing, where people are just like, there isn't really much else to do, and they're like, okay, for Halloween we're giving you enchanted tables. And I'm like, I don't even know what that means. What is that going to do for your game, right? I think that's what makes it interesting, and I think that's what I'm also wanting from Overcooked. Is I want more rapid change, right? To keep the game always interesting, something always different happening.
Yeah, and I think it's just because Overcooked is older than PlateUp, and I don't think the developers are actively working on,
which is fair,
anything Overcooked. So
that's typically what happens from
time
with time, right? Like things that are coming out later are going to look to see what their predecessors did and try to make improvements. So it would make sense that PlateUp is the game that's being more adaptive to their audience because they've seen people make comments. People will always have something to say about everything. Always. So the fact that they're being reactive could just be like, this game kind of flopped because their fans and the people playing the game asked for something and they never did it, so they fell off, you know? But I love me some PlateUp. It's actually been so long since we played.
So long, and that's because we went on vacation.
We played it during vacation, though.
We did play it during vacation. Oh my god, I forgot. We played it a lot during vacation.
We even got Maddie to play it.
And
I think she was a little bit addicted.
A little bit.
So
that's so funny. I forgot we were playing in the hotel. That's crazy.
I think did we play it? I know we played it in Montreal. Did we? And we also played it in New York.
Yeah,
for one day. So yeah. But we haven't played it since we got back.
Yeah, I think I guess it was when we got back. We just fell off.
Mm-hmm.
We definitely talked about it though.
Many times.
Yep.
It's just finding the time. I think because we know it's gonna take 8 hours, we're both just like we're not ready for that commitment.
Yeah,
we have
and
too
I
many
feel
things to do.
Yeah, we're focused on a lot of other things.
Yeah.
Like this podcast.
Right.
And like other goals that we're working on. And so it's kind of hard to dedicate 8 hours. Because once we start...
I think also we've been focusing on other hobbies. Like I've gotten into watching movies and that takes 3 hours. And I don't want to, after 3 hours, come and sit down and play 8 hours worth of games.
Exactly.
But
you know, we'll play.
Maybe this trip we'll play it again.
Yeah. I have faith.
We have to, though. We need to play it before they completely kick us out of that Halloween update.
Oh my God, please. I hope we can play it. But we'll see.
We'll see. If not, well, next year.
Mm-hmm. Because I know we've been talking this whole year about playing that freaking Halloween update, and neither of us remembered.
I completely forgot that they did Halloween updates.
Yep.
It's just been so long. I think we need to dedicate a day every month to play PlateUp. Just a check-in. Right? Because check-in. If we checked in at some point, we probably would have remembered Halloween.
Yeah.
Just
and
at
now
least
the
one
holidays
day.
are coming up.
Right.
Yeah, we got to learn how to play in like smaller doses.
It's not possible with that game.
Oh my God.
Because the thing is, to get through 15, because we typically like to complete in franchise.
That's true.
To get through 15 days in itself sometimes could take the game. It takes a while. Mm-hmm. I feel like we need to sit down and time how long a day is, because we're pretty consistent at being able to get through.
I think it depends on what meal you're working on and what cards you get.
Mm-hmm.
But if I had to guess, I'd say like 2 hours.
Right.
Yeah.
So right there, it's 2 hours, and then we finish, and then we're like, okay, well, we
want to have overtime if we do that. Or
well, I think it's also because we're trying to automate. So it's not even like we finish once we hit to 15 days. We do the 15 days,
and then we keep going.
Yeah. Until we get to a point that you can't really achieve.
And we're we're like, okay, what thing do we need?
Mm-hmm.
What should we upgrade? Let me put this here. Let me rearrange the entire restaurant.
So we pretty much wait until we get to a point where we fully automate, and then when we're not capable of doing it, we start over.
Yeah, and then we do it again.
So I think that's our problem, is we're going for a goal that can't really be obtained in the span of like 3 hours.
Yeah.
So c'est la vie, right?
C'est la vie.
But yeah, as of right now, that is my favorite PlateUp game. My favorite cooking game is PlateUp.
Yep.
Similar to what I asked for Overcooked. What are things... Oh, you already said timeline. I was going to say, what are things that you'd want to like adjust in PlateUp?
Yeah, I think just a campaign level where it's like a storyline and you go through it. I think that'd be nice. And then, of course, keep the way it is. Just have that be one side of it. And then the campaign as a separate thing. Other than that, I want more food things, as I always do. But, you know, that's development, and I got to work on that.
What is a food that you'd want them to have?
That's a good question. Do they have sushi already?
Yes. No.
Overcooked has sushi,
Overcooked has sushi.
Yeah, I don't think they have sushi. I think sushi would be a good one.
Sushi would be fun. And I feel like you could do that very, very well.
Yeah.
You would cook the rice, take a portion of the rice, cut the fish, which you can already do, and then you can roll, make the rolls, and then you chop the roll, and then you plate it.
Yep.
And I would love because sometimes you can take portions. I would love if one roll, because you know how in games like a plate holds 4.
Yeah.
One roll that you chop makes 8 pieces,
and then you.
Yep.
Yeah.
Could you imagine how tricky it would be if it did 2-2 though? Like you had salmon and tuna.
Oh yeah. You know it.
That'd be a lot.
They'd have a California roll, the salmon roll.
Right. They would add avocado and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah.
I would agree. I think I want Mexican food options, like a taco.
They already have tacos.
Did they have a taco?
We
did tacos.
That was a new update. I want a burrito too.
Burritos. And then I want chips and guac.
Oh yeah, they should add that.
Their chips are French fries because it's a British game. But I want like tortilla chips. I want tortilla chips.
And guac, if you make the guac, I can see that.
That'd be cool. Kind of like they take portions of like mandarin oranges.
Yeah.
I would love to have portions of guac. That would be my update.
Delicious.
I love PlateUp. Are there any other food games that you're playing or interested in playing?
You see, I feel like we're missing out on some food games. I feel like
there's a lot.
There's still like room to grow in the food game market.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I mean, I feel like there's still a lot out there that we just don't know of.
True.
Mm-hmm.
And forgotten games like that one you mentioned.
Oh, we're gonna find it. We have to find it.
Yes, but even then, I think for food games, I'm still satisfied by PlateUp, so I'm not stressing over it.
Right.
But I think there are some other games that I want to play as well. Like outside of food games, I think I want to kind of get into gaming as a whole outside of food games as well. What was one of the games that I wanted to play? Oh, I'm always watching, the streamers. We do the same thing. We watch the streamers. And so there's definitely some games that I want to play that people have been playing. One is definitely Cuphead. I've been working on that for like 5 years.
Yeah, and that's a game I'm never going to play because it's taking you 5 years.
Hard. But again, it's one of those things where you play with another person. If I played it alone, I probably would be done by now. But I play it with my friend Maddie. And so we only play twice a year. So it makes sense that it's taken like 5 years. But yeah. So like games like that where it's not food focused, but it's more like I want to become a better gamer. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so food games can only get you so far in that aspect.
Of course.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. This is kind of like a mini dream. It's a dream that I set aside, but I want to build my own PC.
Crazy.
Yeah. I want to build my own PC, and the 2 games that I would get as soon as I have my PC built are Genshin Impact.
Okay.
I played Genshin Impact on my phone, but it got to a point that as it kept updating that my phone just couldn't take it. It just started to overheat. They would have this thing where you could invite friends to come and play in your world. And so I would play with a friend who would be on her PC, and she'd come into my world, or I'd go into hers. And I was like, my phone's crashing. So Genshin Impact is one. Though I started playing Genshin as soon as it came out. So I was able to like keep up with the updates where I would complete everything and they get an update.
Yeah.
But that game has been out for so long now that if I play it, I think I'd be too overwhelmed.
Yes.
That's one game. And I'm really interested in Baldur's Gate. I saw a lot of people playing it on like TikTok and on streams and stuff. That looks like a lot of fun.
You remember the game I tried to get us to play, but you have a Mac?
Yeah.
Chained Together.
Yeah.
I want to play that so bad because I know I'm yelling at both of you.
Yes. So here's the thing, right? I'm very adverse to it, but I do need to get a new laptop.
Yeah.
Because mine is a new laptop. 7 years old.
7 years old, and then they do not support Mac at all.
Yeah.
For a lot of these PC games.
Yeah. My biggest thing is I definitely have drinking the Apple Kool-Aid because all of my stuff is Apple, and I like the fact that everything's connected. When I get a phone call, if my TV's on, my TV will pick up the call and I can talk to you from my TV.
Yep.
That's insane because I'm like, where's the camera? You know what I mean? How
Sway?
Anyway, I'm trying to hold on to that, but having a Mac does make it difficult to do a lot of things, especially when it comes to editing and like transferring information. So hopefully my computer is it's not a bad computer in the sense that if I pushed or took everything from it and moved it to a PC, it would work fine. Like I can answer emails, I could still send messages and stuff. So I could still have it for another 3 years before I think because it's getting to
out.
Yeah. Because it can survive without a battery, like without it being plugged in, but the battery drains pretty fast. So I can just keep it plugged in. So I'm trying to convince myself that I don't have to throw away my Mac if I get a PC.
Yeah.
But if I get a PC, that's going to open so much.
We're going to be playing so many games.
Yeah, actually, we were looking at computers for a possibility for me to buy. Maybe I need to look at ones that can support me playing games. So it's not necessarily a gaming computer.
Especially if you want to play Genshin.
Genshin Impact.
Yeah, that one, you need a hefty.
Yeah.
Because those games are huge.
Maybe I can put it on my Christmas list.
Good luck.
We'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
But yeah.
Those are some games.
I
do want to become a little bit more of a gamer. I realize I enjoy playing games a lot. And I wouldn't want to say that it's going to be a main hobby, but it's definitely going to be a pseudo
side hobby. Yeah. It's good social.
Right.
Social hobbies.
Social hobbies.
Wow.
But yeah, I love gaming. Cooking, gaming, to be exact.
Cooking, gaming. I like cooking, but now I'm lazy. Only cooking games for me.
I like cooking. I just don't like cleaning.
Yeah.
I wish cleaning dishes was as easy as cleaning in games.
Absolutely.
Because you literally just hold a button and it says clean.
Okay, it's clean.
Yep.
That'd be great.
Maybe in the future, maybe robots will come and help us and you just hit a button and they'll robot like the dishwasher.
They're playing Diner Dash
with us.
Yep.
Honestly, I would not be surprised if we're in a simulation right now and someone's orchestrating our lives.
I believe it.
It makes sense.
Sit down, film podcast. And we said,
try to be famous.
Not try to be famous. Well.
But yeah.
Yes.
You want to play some PlateUp now?
That's what I was thinking, but we might have to go to sleep.
Maybe just one game.
Oh my gosh, 6 hours later. Okay, go to drive to work.
I would call off work. Are you joking?
Oh my god.
Oh wait, no, I have a meeting. I got a meeting I gotta go to. Just kidding. Maybe tomorrow night.
Yeah, maybe tomorrow night. We'll see.
Right. Alrighty, Chanel.
Alrighty, bye.
Deuces.
Is someone knocking on my door? Hello? Open the door. Open the door. I'm filming a podcast right now. Goodbye.
Hi.
You want to say hi to the podcast?
No, thank you.
Okay, bye.